Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice and welcome to the channel. Simply because I know the nature of people on the internet and the fact that they don't read through entire titles or take thumbnails at face value when they were not meant to be clickbait and never were clickbait. No, this is not a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, of course, and yes, it is an old Breath of the Wild trailer. And no, it is not my first time seeing it. I have seen it many times before. This is simply a look back after 5 years. The idea for this video came about when I was creating my last video, which I will link here, in which I needed to use part of that final trailer for Breath of the Wild for the video. In the midst of trying to capture that footage, I'm rewatching it just in tears. I know that sounds dramatic, but it was true at just how wonderful this trailer was. And when I looked at the publishing date for the video, it said something like January 2017. That's just over 5 years ago. How on earth was that 5 years ago? I was in my second semester of my junior year of college. I was 21 years old. And for me personally, I was just so emotional rewatching this trailer and having all of those giddy feelings of just how good the game is, and how excited I was for it, even though I actually did not watch trailers until closer to like Christmas of that year. For those who don't know, that was a time when I was just getting back into the Zelda franchise, and it was Breath of the Wild and channels such as Game Over Jesse, which is really cool because now I have the honor of being a part of it, that helped really get me back into the series. So I was aware of Breath of the Wild, but wasn't super involved. Rather, it wasn't until maybe October or November, well after the game had already released, that I started looking into these trailers and wanting to play the game, which I would eventually start doing that Christmas. So once again, when I was getting that footage for the video, I was just so overwhelmed by how fantastic that trailer was, especially when we know how good the game is now and how excited we are for the inevitable sequel, hoping that it stays this year. I'm pretty confident it will stay as releasing this year, but you never know. All this to say, this is a reaction to the final trailer for the original Breath of the Wild 5 years later. And before I put it on, I just want you to go back in time, if you can. 5 years ago, before we actually had the game, we had just gotten the title, Breath of the Wild. We did not know the release date. We did not have a Nintendo Switch. We had seen a lot of footage on it and the idea behind it, and it sounded really cool, but we didn't have it. What we just had a few years prior, well, I guess like 7 years prior, was Skyward Sword, and that didn't turn out well overall. Even though I love the game and a lot of people back then did love the game, at the time people were kind of upset with the Zelda franchise. They didn't like the motion controls. They thought parts of it were too easy, even though they said the motion controls were too hard, so that's confusing. Maybe those were different people, I don't know. As far as main 3D Zelda titles, we had Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and the aforementioned Skyward Sword. The last time there was a really open world Zelda game was the very first one from the late 80s. Just try to imagine 5 years ago when we didn't have Breath of the Wild and getting this for our final trailer. Those graphics, my gosh. Starting heavy. We would have seen the shrine in the corner, mesmerized by just how incredibly beautiful it is. All the different scenery is so vast. Wondering just how big is this map? Little Arctic fox, the volcano back there. Koroks, discovering Koroks. I remember seeing the discussions about that, people realizing that was the Great Deku Tree. And seeing those 3 Silent Princess flowers and finding that similarity to A Link to the Past. Oh my gosh. Just this alone. Do you remember how big that was for us? So good. Oh, I remember all the feelings. And the music just getting better and better. The climbing. Gosh. Although the trailer before this was like, what? Literally climb everything.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule.
The story elements. Autumn.
The calamity Ganon. A primal evil that has endured over the ages.
Everything, and just being like, what is this? What are we getting? This is better than most movie trailers today, frankly. Even though we didn't know how easy of a boss it was gonna be, it was epic to us. Look at that. Just so much there. Just so much there. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even on YouTube back then, and just, they all exploded. What is that? Right? The Sheikah Slate, that's a thing. What's with all of that? Oh, paragliding, beautiful. Look at these towns. They're so gorgeous. There's so much there. It's raining, guardian, destroy, destruction, just...
That look on your face
Sean Chiplock.
But you have
so
no
good.
recollection of me, however. I think you are.
I remember trying to figure out, was that the King of Hyrule? Right there?
Years ago.
It's so dramatic. Zelda, it's Zelda. Oh, I remember freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, is that Zelda? Do you hear this music, y'all? Oh, that's my favorite scene. Oh, that, I can't.
Until now, it was all for nothing.
Just... We didn't know what any of this was. The classic theme. Yes. Everyone was theorizing about the blue flame. Just... Are you listening to this music?
You must save her. My daughter.
Oh, it is the King of Hyrule. Just... Everyone being like, why is she so dirty? What happened? Like, why is she hurt?
Open your eyes.
And of course, everyone freaking out about the release date, which was not something for me because it was already out by the time I think I saw this trailer. But just... Like I said, I usually cry when I see that trailer, but one, camera's up, so that already makes me suppress my emotions a little bit. And two, I wanted to be talking. If I was just sitting in my bed watching it, I'd be, in tears. But it doesn't matter. That's beside the point. This might seem like a cheap video, but I just wanted to relive that with y'all, Just all the feelings. And now we're getting a sequel, and I'm so hoping we get a trailer like that. I already have loved what we've gotten in the 2 trailers we have. But like I said, that was better than most movie trailers, barring like the MCU. And I would say How to Train Your Dragon had some good trailers too. I don't see a lot of movie trailers too often anymore, but do y'all remember that? And just how good that was and how good it turned out to be, and discovering like, oh, this was that part from the trailer. I'm not being very articulate right now. Instead, articulate yourselves in the comment section below what you remember about seeing this trailer, even if it's just, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out this year, y'all. That means in this year alone, we're going to get more trailers, we're going to get gameplay footage, we're going to get discussions from Nintendo, we're going to get a title, we're finally going to get a title, we're going to get a release date. That's how much we're going to be getting this year. We're going to be getting, hopefully, a cinematic trailer like that. That's how good this year is going to be in terms of the gaming world. I don't base my entire life on games, but I love doing that here, of course. So I'm really extremely overwhelmed and busy in a good way with my job right now. For those who don't know, I'm a dance teacher. We just started recital. I have well over 20 dances to choreograph. Some of them really easy because they're the little ones and it's cute, but obviously my time is a little bit more limited. Still gonna be streaming on Friday nights at 7:45, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. starting Twilight Princess tomorrow as of recording this video. So it might be more simple videos like this. I just want to share in that with y'all. Thanks for sharing in this random little moment with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Just a little piece of nostalgia. Again, if you would really like to dive into the nostalgia, feel free to check out that video I linked earlier, where I go through why each of the 3D Zelda games we have thus far could merit being number one. I wanted to flesh it out a lot more, but it would have been well over an hour. So I kept it pretty short, and it was just a real nice nostalgia trip, honestly. It took a lot of effort to edit, but in general, it was just, here's all the nostalgia, right? Thanks to the many people who have shared that video too. I went to go share it on Twitter. That's like the only thing I do there. I had all these notifications about people tagging me and retweeting and sharing the video saying like, oh, this is such a good nostalgia trip. So just thank you for that. That was really cool. And I'm like, I know I'm not the only one then that just loves nostalgia, right? You know, but I'm excited for new stuff too. So thank you so much to my patrons, especially those in the highly interior Joking Batman, Code and Data, McToppler, and Trevor. Thank you to all my patrons. Thank you to my channel members, Aaron and David at the current, but I've had channel members come and go, and just thank you guys, whatever you give and support with. Thank you to all of you, a part of the Geekdom as subscribers too. Yeah, until next time, that does it for today. Thank you for watching.